What's up, family? Welcome back to the Stop Sinking Show, where we go from struggle to flow. I don't have anything I've spent a lot of time thinking about or analyzing exactly to talk about today, but I do have something I've been feeling, and maybe we can build on that feeling out loud together and see where that takes us. Lately, I've been acknowledging the emotional relationship that I have with even a bit of progress, and how that has to do with my willingness to even open my eyes to witness it. And how other times in other areas of my life where I don't feel like I'm making progress, it's this exact idea of momentum just working in the exact opposite direction, which feeds avoidance and causes me to turn my eyes away and look away from all the things that I'm feeling at, which can create a distorted view because we want to bask longer in the places we're progressing, and that might exaggerate those other areas getting left behind at an even faster and compounding rate, which is why we have this universal respect for the all-rounder, the person who's good at multiple things, the person who seems to almost excel at all the plates spinning in their life. We appreciate that because we understand the cost of having parts of our life lagging behind. And it's really about me feeling how much of an emotional game that this is. For example, when I'm consistent with my fitness, I'm excited to look in the mirror for progress. And it might be borderline narcissistic, but it's not just that I'm looking at myself in admiration. It's that I'm looking for progress, for the fruits of the labor I'm putting in. And in that same way, that feeling can flip. When there is no labor being put into certain areas of my life, or it's not adequate labor, I don't expect as much fruit out of it naturally. I'm not delusional. And it's almost like I don't want to then look in the mirror at all to see at all the lack of progress, which I don't expect at all there to be, which might allow me to put it in the back of my mind as a way to calm my anxiety for the moment, but it does nothing to actually address the situation, which will only get worse if left unattended. And that's, I guess, the idea of bad momentum, spiraling downward slowly. But the beauty that I'm recognizing is that the slow spiral up is just as satisfying, no matter how slow. And all it takes is the willingness to labor. It's funny because in many ways in life, including the gym, especially when you are willing to put in as much work as I do, because that part has to be there, there are ways to shortcut the fruits. And in most of life, you will encounter quick and dirty ways to get to where you want to go. Given the amount of effort required is there to couple it, there are ways to enhance your efforts that, through these shortcuts, essentially cheat code toward a faster result. And at least faster than what would be possible if you progressed naturally and went down the natural course. And again, in listening to my feelings, it's not even the arrival of the fruit and the fruition of the effort that is most satisfying, my feelings tell me. Although the results are there to measure whether you are heading towards them or not, the gratification comes alone from the basking in your effort being put in. And that the possibility, just the possibility of progress is there in the first place. For the things I don't look in the mirror for, it's because there isn't even a possibility of progress in those areas because I'm not doing the labor. And it's compounding because then I don't even look at it or pay any attention to it. It's not even the destination or the arrival that is so much the source of appreciation in the mirror, as is the process that is actually underway, fueled by my effort, or just my attention, or at least the lack of avoidance. The process is appreciated because you appreciate your own willingness to put in the effort and then be able to look at it. It's a subtle subconscious nod our bodies give us in form of good feelings to know that progress is underway when we're willing to look at it and then appreciate just whatever is underway, that the construction has at least begun and is in progress. And again, the same way, the subtle avoidance of things not being addressed or paid attention to. Like when the market is down and the way it's been in recent months, and I'm stuck with some of the decisions I've made in the past that are currently not in season to fruit. But they have in the past and will in the future, given a long enough time horizon. But that's a hard thing to stay in touch with in the current state, which causes me to not even want to open up my accounts. Total avoidance. Same way when I feel I don't have the possibility to move forward and execute certain things in certain areas of my life because of real or perceived blocks. I stop laboring them. It compounds. I don't labor them, which causes me to avoid them, which then the avoidance of it causes me to further not labor them. And then it just completely compounds. And I stop being able to just even look at them. I can't bear the sight of the work left not done. It feels heavier to me than anything I've ever felt. I guess all I came on here to share today was a recognition from the part of my life that I feel I'm winning in, and hope that there can be some transference of energy into the parts of my life that are not so much so. And the pointing out of the fact that even the slowest bit of progress, just even the needle tipped back in the direction of progress, even at the pace of 1 grain of sand at a time, is enough for those eyes to not hide themselves. It's enough for them to be able to at least glance and then look and then maybe stare and review and analyze as the eventual momentum takes hold from that 1 grain of sand passing through in its natural course, all by the ounce of labor and attention you give it to short circuit and hopefully restart and nudge it back into a positive direction that then maybe might become manageable. And the process is so beautiful and so worth the admiration that you will automatically feel the peace in your heart when more of the things that you are ignoring and avoiding make their way back into your conscious control and effect. Even with that 1 degree more of labor and effort, you will be looking in the mirror in reflection of your life and appreciate those small, maybe at times even immeasurable progress. Sometimes I can't see the fruits of my labor from the last workout. Sometimes it takes 10 of those workouts to see the fruit. But just being able to look for it, knowing that it might be there, is enough. Sometimes even when the progress is invisible and you can't see it, you will still feel the peace in your heart, knowing you spent another day at the least to push towards it. Now, why it ended up, or some things end up in a spot of avoidance, or then compound and don't have priority in our life, there might be multiple reasons for that. From tragedies that throw you off course, to chaos, to insecurities, to downright abdication of your responsibilities. My concern is less with how you got there and more with how to get you out of there. Get myself out of there. And to remind us that the avoidant status of this particular part of your life can change in the drop of a second with your next action towards it. And the second you lift your finger to affect where you have felt stuck, and then just learn to avoid altogether in a way to minimize pain, the second you lift your finger to move it even a bit, to just rehash it in your mind even, to reconcile it, to analyze where you stand, to maybe even begin again, even those smallest of steps has the potential to break you out of that gridlock of avoidance. And even those smallest of steps might get you to look in the mirror again for those things and their growth day to day. Even that is enough to get you out of it, that avoidant state. As long as a greater force of some insecurity or trauma or some real core reason for why you're avoiding it doesn't just shun you right back into a place of avoidance, then we have different work to do. Because you might be working against a wall, and if all those variables are not taken into account. But for most of us who might not be blocked by something traumatic, something other than just lost momentum, what my feelings from the places where I'm winning are telling me is that I can apply the same lessons to the places I'm not and reap those emotional benefits and actually progress my life, no matter how slow of a burn it might be. I'm just feeling my way through this to find the path for myself that leads to less and less things I'm afraid to look at in my life. And I just wanted to share that it can be tipped with just an ounce of progress that I'm realizing. And I can't be the only one that feels this way. I love you, family. See you in the next show.